self-awareness, and self-management. These are the 4 things I want to give you out of this one, and I'm going to go through each one of those. But I want to say and reiterate again, if you don't work on this part of it, this is the most important part. There's one executive coach who says that if you can get this in the emotional intelligence competencies and you can develop this, this will enable you to do 90 to 95% of all the other emotional intelligence competencies because it's so foundational for them. So this one's a big deal. The first thing I have here is mindfulness. Now, this is not necessarily mindfulness in the religious practice sense. Mindfulness can be something as simple as simply stopping, taking inventory, and where you're at right now, just noticing where you're at. A lot of people find it easiest to start with what's called somatic awareness. So just being aware of what you're feeling in your body at this moment and at this time. It can also extend to emotional awareness. So just being aware, what emotions am I experiencing right now? What am I feeling? And being able to identify that. The key is to identify it without judgment, but to just notice it. So you don't let your mind spin on it, but just to be aware that it's there. Like how I was aware that I was feeling triggered by the payroll comment. This one, Johari window. People think this is like something that was developed, sounds like a Middle Eastern name, Johari. Turns out it was developed by 2 men, one named Joe and one named Harry. That's why it's called the Johari window. This one's kind of interesting because as you start becoming mindful, you can do all the awareness you want of yourself, but you may find you still have blind spots. So blind spots are when other people see something in you, but you don't see it. That one's hard. And there's the hidden stuff, or the facade, things you keep hidden from other people and they don't know, or maybe even false fronts that you put up. So you know what the truth is inside, but other people don't. So this one, you need to get feedback in order to get this one. So here's an easy way to do it. There is a website up here. I checked it recently, although I didn't check it this week. It was still working. kevan.org/Johari. And you can go in there and send a link to your friends, and they pick just like 6 words that describe you, and it catalogs it all and spits it out, and it shows you where your open area, blind spots, etc. are. Kind of fun. If you're really willing to be risky and walk on the dark side, this guy has also developed one called the No-Hari window, because it's the opposite of Johari, No-Hari. These guys like a lot of puns. And that one has a lot of antithesis of all the positive things that are in the Johari window. So an interesting thing to try, party trick with you and your friends, but you may get some information you didn't have before that will be useful to you. And when you do, one of the things you want to start doing is keeping a learning journal. Capture the things that you're learning about yourself, put them in a learning journal so that you're actually able to record them. There's some value in writing them down. I kind of like to type things myself, but the value in having a paper copy is it slows you down. By slowing down the process, you have time to be more aware and intake that more. And this is a key thing in implicit learning, is being able to see what's happening inside and to be able to make corrections. And then on the awareness side, this one is a really important one, naming the emotion that you're experiencing right then at that moment. So you could treat this as a DJ game, name that emotion. And by doing that, there's something magical about articulating what it is you're feeling. If you can say it, it moves blood flow to the front of the brain, and now all of a sudden your amygdala has less oxygen to play with. It is a way of untriggering yourself. It's also a way of helping you back down that ladder of inference. So when I went through the ladder of inference escalation with the payroll incident, what I noticed was I was aware, and I noticed what I was feeling. I'm like, what am I feeling? I'm feeling angry. I'm feeling angry. And so I thought, well, I wonder when else I have felt angry. What's this about? It turns out, as I walked myself back down the ladder before I sent that email, I realized I had a boss, no kidding, 31 years ago that cheated me on my time card and questioned my time. I had to go to wage and hour division to get him to pay my final paycheck. That made me mad. And I realized I still had baggage from that. But what got me in touch with that and being able to figure out it's not about this poor payroll person, she just stepped in it and didn't know it, but it was really about my baggage, and by being able to name that emotion, I got unhijacked enough I could find my way back down the ladder and get in touch with what was really going on for me. This is also great, and we'll talk about work groups too, but this is also great with work groups to be able to Be honest with each other about what you're experiencing. It's almost magical what you get when you bring it up in a group and ask people what they're feeling instead of what they're thinking. Because now you have an opportunity to see what's the hidden stuff that's not on the table, because that can influence whether or not people are going to go along with you or not.